Hello and welcome to 2FATech. Today we are going to have an unboxing of the MSI MAG Vampiric 100R, the gaming case. Now if you are new to my channel and you haven't already subscribed, I request you to go ahead and subscribe. And if you have been visiting my channel and you haven't already subscribed, yet again I'm asking you to go ahead and subscribe. So without further ado, wasting my time, let me just show you how the box looks like from external, and then let me get into the unboxing itself. So as you can see, this is how the case looks like, and this is a perforated mesh that allows air to be flown in, and there is a strip here. So in the side of the box we can see the other information about the case, which is also I will show up on the screen. So because there is a sticker over here, it's not very evident, and that's pretty much you can see there is buttons on the top. Unlike normal cases, the buttons are not on the front, and it does talk about optimized airflow, ARGB, tempered glass, and magnetic filter, the one in the top that I was just talking about. And it says it supports ATX, micro ATX, and ITX form factor. Now this is a mid-tower case. Do not try to install a more than 300mm long graphics card in this one. It's not going to fit. So let me go ahead and open this up right away. I'm going to take my blade and let's start this. So this is the MSI MAG Vampiric 100R case. There is also a model called MAG Vampiric 100L. Now if you don't want to get confused, 100L comes without the ARGB fan in the back that this one has. This one has an ARGB fan and one intake fan in the front, and that is purely justifiable because that allows you to have some kind of airflow, because if you buy a case without any kind of fans, it's not going to work because you got to add some fans. So let me go ahead and try to open this up here, and before I open up here, let me just show you the back side. This is the back side, and you have all the ventilations you require, and the power supply is going to be on the bottom side, and the finish of the case is much better than those cheaper cases. And this is already in the low price segment, and this is the ARGB strip I talked about. You're going to see later on how it's going to work, and you have a beautiful MSI logo embedded into the case. And on the top you have these switches that I'm going to show you. This is the power, and this is the reset button, two indicator lights, mic, headphone, and USB ports, and this is the USB 3.0, and this is the one that is used to control the ARGB light, and it's a very minuscule switch, but somehow you can use it. And this is the magnetic one that we spoke about earlier. It can be removed, but unfortunately I'm able to take it out now. So let me go ahead and try to remove these screws. So I have the screwdriver here. Let me take this off, and I'm going to show something that I do not like about this case. So there is a kind of hold for this glass, but still it's not the best way to actually remove this glass. I would actually prefer, if you guys are doing this build by yourself, you keep the CPU placed in this way, so that and you have something on the bottom so you do not get the CPU scratched. And of course I would also like to introduce this one. which is for the intake for the PSU. And now I'm going to take out the glass, and I'm going to show you something that's not the best of this case, or actually the worst part of this case. This is a pretty good tempered glass. I've actually dropped it once upon a time and it didn't break. Now the problem here is the rubber protection. As you can see, it's already moved out, and the one here is actually not in place. I'm pretty sure you're gonna lose this while you do installation or while you just take it out. So the best way to handle it would be either to remove it completely and keep it in a safe place until you finish the installation, because if you're going to leave it up there, you're going to lose them. And I have lost a lot of them in my projects and installation, because sometimes you just can't see these things once they fall on the floor. So I'm going to put them away, and they have also been provided with a slide rubber, so the screw actually does not touch the glass. The same for the 100 and 100R and 100L. And they are talking about providing some cable ties. The panel, of course, one of the bad things reviewers always complain about is the panels that has to be detached or removed. I don't have a problem with that because, you know, it's a cheap case or it's a cost-effective case. And these are the kind of screws that is provided. And on this model, it's also mentioned here, 100R, there is a 1-to-3 fan splitter, which is going to come really in handy, because you're going to add more fans in this project, or most of the project you might add more fans. And this talks about the front and rear fans, because in the other one, as I said, the 100L, there is no fan included. And these case dimensions, I'm going to post that up on the screen right here. And this is the way, the disassembly of the case, and you can actually remove the hard drive cage from the bottom. I'm going to show that at a later point of time. And it shows the size and the button configuration. And then as we go, it talks about how to remove the hard drive. The screws are in the bottom. You can take out the cage, and you can also mount 2 hard drives here, the smaller ones, the 2.5 inch here. In some of my projects, I use them, mount them here. Going back to the manual, the possibility of mounting drives over there, you can actually mount one drive on the top and one drive inside of the cage. Now this talks about how to connect the front panel ARGB to the power. There is a SATA power that you can connect. So that's pretty much in the manual. Now I'm going to open the back side. Requires a screwdriver. So this panel is going to come off now. And this is kind of an insert over here. So if you're going to stuff wires up in here, this panel is not going to close, and that's going to be a bad thing. So be sure that you do not have wires stuffed out here. And this is how the back side looks like. Now you have a lot of options to actually have the cables tied to these points, which is actually pretty good. And there is also substantial amount of gap, which is also good because you can arrange the wires clearly. I'm going to take this out from here and show you the kind of wires that comes with it. And this is pretty much the it's mentioned here is the HD audio, and we have the USB connection here. Yes, that's a USB. And then you have the motherboard connectors. It's all marked clearly, so you know what these are for. And then you have the USB 3.0 connector for the motherboard, and this one, this SATA is for the ARGB control unit that is actually inside the front panel. Now you can see these are also the ARGB stuff, and it's already the front ARGB output. This is an output from the front. It is already connected to the fan, so you can connect something here, and you can daisy chain, and you can connect something here. So this can be repeated if you have a splitter for this one. So right now there's only one point, and you can use that to connect something else. And these are the fan 3-pin connectors that comes with it, and also the 3-pin for the front fan. And if I'm just going to turn it around a bit, and I'm going to show you what's inside the cover. And that's pretty much the panel and the splitter as we spoke about. I'm going to lay it down here so you can see what's all in here. So these are the two panels, which is good. They have provided that, so in case you remove them and you change the motherboard in the future and the position of the PCI Express is different, you can still go ahead and close them. And these are the fan splitters. It's a good idea to have them. And this is the front side, and the integrated circuit for the ARGB is inside that, and you cannot see that, but I'm gonna anyways take out this panel to show you, because the most important part about this one is the fans, which is actually coming inside. Take it out. It's not very difficult, but you got to be careful, you don't want to drop it. Unfortunately, it's not going to be easy to actually remove this and clean this. So after a period of time, and this is going to get dirty, and the dirt is going to get stuck in there, you have to remove all this, probably to take out the filter to clean it up, if you have ever got to do that. And the ARGB control unit is inside here, and unfortunately you cannot mount fans in this side. The only way you can mount fan is in the back side, but you can mount up to 3 fans out here. And I don't think this is the kind of case that you would use to have a system that has 3 fans, because that means that it's a high-end setup. So this case is gonna be a pretty simple installs. Something like you have the GTX 2060 or the 1650 1660 graphics card build, and I'm gonna show you right now the hard drive cage that is down here, and the PSU. You can have a pretty big power supply, and this is the hard drive cage that you have here, and it can be unscrewed from the bottom, and there are 3 screws holding, and you can slide it out, or you can completely remove it if you don't want it, because most of the time I use these small hard drives that can actually be mounted out here and here, and that does the job. So this is pretty much on the case, and right now I'll go ahead and install the motherboard and then explain to you how it looks like and what are the details. Now the reason why I prefer this case is strictly because there is a front big intake that helps and maximize the airflow in this case, which is the best thing about this. So if I add another fan here, and already this fan will do half the job, and add another fan on the top, that is pretty much enough for this case to handle pretty good graphics cards.
I think I will now exhibit some of the simple builds that we have done over the last few months using this case. The most power hungry card we have used in this setup is the RX 580, and it was totally fine, no heating issues, or we did not feel there was any kind of bottleneck due to the lack of airflow. We also use graphics cards like 1050 Ti, 750 Ti, etc. The low end cards, and we even used high end setup using 650 watts of power supply, and we had no issues again. Now, one of the cool feature of this case is the inclusion of the ARGB LEDs. It isn't too much and it's not too less either. You can spice it up by adding more ARGB fans in the front and the top. You can also use ARGB based AIO coolers to make it even more cooler. At the price point and considering the build quality, the MSI case is definitely a winner in all sense. This is also the reason why it has become the default low budget build case in our builds. So far, I believe Too Far Tech has earned a credit to request for a subscription from you if you have watched until now. So go ahead and click that like button and subscribe. So that's pretty much about the MSI Vampiric 100R. So you all have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching.